We're all about turning a crappy situation into something positive.
$250,000 of credit
I
card debt.
still remember the day when no one turned up.
Throw it in the garbage and start from
I
scratch.
could give myself a chance, so I started something.
I mean, I think that counts as from poop to gold.
Our sponsor for this episode is our 14-day video script challenge.
Yes, we are sponsoring our own show.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back to From Poop to Gold. I'm your co-host, Benton Crane. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. I've got Richie Norton here with me. Welcome to the show, Richie.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good to have you. So Richie is the co-founder of Product.
Yep.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Nope.
Product?
Product. So it's like
Product,
products you're proud of. Product. Everyone thinks like I have some weird accent. They're like, wait, what are you saying? How do you say product? No, like, no, it's product. It's okay.
Product. Got it. So we're going to talk more about that.
Okay.
But Richie is also the author of the book. Let me see if I get this right.
Okay.
The Power of Building Something Stupid.
Close. It's called Poop to Gold. And I was... It's the power of starting something stupid.
Got it.
But you were close enough.
Got it. So I just ordered the book.
Oh, thanks.
It's on its way, and I'm excited to.
I have your book. You
read
guys
it.
sent it, and it's amazing.
Oh, good. Good. I actually have another copy to give to you today for being on our show.
The more the better. The more the better. Very cool.
Awesome. Let's get started. First up, let's give a quick overview of the book, a quick overview of Product, and then we're going to dive into your background a little bit. So let's start there. Give us the overview of the book.
So I wrote The Power of Starting Something Stupid. It took me, this is so bad, but it took me like 6 years to write this thing. You know what I mean? From idea to getting it published with the
I
traditional
empathize,
publisher.
man. I have this book rolling around in my head, and it's been there for 2 years.
They're there, and they're also really hard to write because you're like, it might make sense to me, you know? And then my wife will read it and she'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, rewrite the whole thing, you know, and then the whole publishing process. But over that time period, the idea was what makes people successful. Kind of a thing that people like look into a lot. But as I looked into it, I found out it was pretty obvious. People started things. Successful people start. They start stuff.
Okay.
And what was interesting is I realized, by the way, START became an acronym in the book for a process that I call START.
Okay.
Serve, think, ask, receive, and trust. STRT. Yeah. So START. But then I realized they didn't just start something. They started something with poop in it. You know, like you're talking about. They started something stupid. They started something that people thought was crazy, was weird. I can't do it. Someone else should. You shouldn't do it because you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And when I took that angle and I started seeing the world in that way, I realized everything from the Model T to the telephone to Twitter
To the iPhone.
Stupid idea, like ridiculous. But then I realized innovation starts at stupid, creativity starts at stupid. If it were smart, it would have already been done.
Right.
And it's not that it's inherently stupid. It's just that it's so like unique or different or weird for the time that no one's done it yet. So you get to be the inventor, the one who innovates it, the one who, you know, makes it happen.
Yeah. In our early days, every time we made an ad and then we took it out to get feedback on it, we got the exact same piece of feedback every single time. And that was, never work. It's too long. It's too long. And we just kept hearing that over and over and over again. And it's funny, now you fast forward 6 years and the whole industry is copying the pattern because it works.
No. That's exactly right. There's a process. It starts as stupid, right?
Yep.
Then it becomes like smart because everyone's like, that's the thing to do. The problem is it becomes standard. Once it becomes standard, you're going to have to reinvent.
Yep.
Make them
gotta move
longer,
on.
Make them shorter. Use less poop. Use more. Whatever it is, but like it's a process.
Yep.
You know, so.
Okay, very cool. So that's an overview of the book. Where's the best place to buy that book
Just
for our
Amazon,
listeners? Okay,
you know.
Amazon.
It's in 10 different languages. You can find it almost anywhere.
Awesome.
Including China. Can you believe it?
So cool. Okay, so let's talk Product.
Okay. So Product actually came when I wrote this book. People started asking me for help with their stupid idea. And I quickly learned I couldn't be the subject matter expert on their stupid idea because I'm not them, you know, and they have their own world. But I could on their business model and also the ultimate goal or lifestyle they wanted, you know, to come from it. So I got into coaching, consulting, online courses, that whole deal. then teaching people how to do coaching, consulting, online courses. Like this is just kind of iterations. But because I had a background, we didn't mention this, but I have a background in manufacturing, making stuff, more like social entrepreneurial things, how to help people get out of poverty. And when people asked to make things, I was like, oh, I can do this. This would be fun to do. So I reached out to my, business partner at the time, also Jace Bennett.
Yep. Jace has also been on the show.
Yeah. Yes, he's amazing. And then also TFN Magre, who you need to have genius level, man. This guy's amazing.
I'm excited to meet him.
And we decided to create this company we called Product to help people just make it. Because the problem with all of us who have wild ideas is we have so many, we don't know which one to do. And then in addition to that, making it is really, really hard. So people stop doing anything because they don't know how. So we'll do the ideation part with them if they need us to, help invent it, prototypes, manufacture it, package it, ship it, warehouse it, fulfill it, like the whole thing. So literally all someone has to do is which is like the real hard part, sell it.
Yep.
But we can take care of the rest for the entrepreneur. They don't have to know. They can. They'll learn it. We'll take them to China. We'll show them everything. But they don't have to anymore. They can just do it.
So if I understand correctly, kind of your focus point, at least up to now, has been taking people, particularly influencers who have built an audience,
Yes.
and helping them bring a product into their brand and into their world to share with their audience.
No.
Is that accurate?
That totally. It's a good point. Especially because a lot of our clients are influencers, not all. And some people are starting from scratch doing Kickstarters and just whatever it takes to make it happen. But what we realize is, especially with influencers, they may be killing it with brand deals and ads or whatever their business model is until the ads get shut down.
Right.
Until people don't like them because they did something weird. You know what I mean? And they stop getting the brand deals. And besides that, it's an amazing way. If you're going to do brand deals and do ads, why don't you have your own brand deals?
Yep.
Why aren't you running your own ads? So even with a tiny audience, you can make bank. If you have your own product and you can make, I don't know, if you can double your money, 10x it, why wouldn't you be doing that? So we're taking everything from books to clothing to some weird tech stuff to even new, equipment for cameras. We're doing tiny houses and pools now. We're doing bizarre things, but it's all based on what that person's audience wants.
So here's one thing I found really interesting about you guys. I've seen, probably dozens and dozens of influencers who are like, hey, I'm going to have my own clothing line. I've got my little boutique,
Merch.
this, that, merch, right?
Yeah.
But from what I've seen with you guys, you're actually developing unique products that are specific to that audience or that influencer or that brand. And that includes everything from like ideation and prototyping, completely new things, right?
Totally. Anyone can go on to one of those sites and do a print-on-demand shirt and hat, and nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. But if you want to be like the next whatever brand, if you want to be custom, and you don't, it doesn't take that many. It is a higher volume, but it doesn't take that many or that much money even to pre-sell to make it well worth your time. And also, YouTube and all these other social channels, they're only going to get more saturated.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you're like just like everyone else and you're slapping a logo on your shirt, like, how does that make you like any different, any cooler? How does that make people want to buy things from you? How can you sell at a higher price point, right? Because those print-on-demand things, you might make $1 or $2, unless you want to totally go crazy with your pricing. But with us, it might only cost a couple of bucks and you're selling it for 20. I mean, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, or you can also sell it for 2, whatever you want. You just break even, whatever. But it's really smart. It's a stupid smart.
I like it.
It is like, I say stupid's the new smart. Some people think it's crazy to do something that's, oh my gosh, it's so tailored, it's so new, but it's like, people love it. Why wouldn't you do it if you can?
So cool. So I want to dive into your backstory.
Yeah.
But before we go there, for our listeners,
there's people over here.
Where can they learn more about Product?
So Product.com, proud, PROUDUCT.com, and we have tons of information there. We have an application form if you want to like work with us, and we'll reach out and go from there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to hear your backstory. So of course, This is the Poop to Gold show, and every successful
I can't
person.
share it. I can't share it. It's too secret. It's too stupid.
So let's go there in as much
Okay.
as you're willing to, Richie.
Yeah.
But every successful person, from my observation, has had to overcome big time obstacles. There, those poop moments in their life to come out on top and to come out with the gold moments, right?
It's true.
What has been your poop to gold journey?
I haven't had any problems in my whole life.
It's been smooth sailing.
It's been just the most amazing thing ever. No problems at all. Well, so actually, when I was writing The Power of Starting Something Stupid, my brother-in-law lived on and off with us for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he didn't wake up. He passed away in his sleep at 21.
Oh my goodness!
Like out of nowhere. We still don't even know.
No warnings.
Nothing.
At 21.
And when that happened, it obviously crushed us. It was on Father's Day. So my poor parents-in-law, all of us, my poor wife, like my kids knew him so well because he lived on and off with us. But when that happened, we realized, you know what? We might not be 65 and be able to retire and be rich and wealthy and famous and do all the things that we want to do and save the world. You
never know.
You never know. And when that happened, I mean, it leveled us. It leveled our reality. And so time almost, when weird things happen, you're like, everything's in slow motion. That happened, but it was also like time collapsed. Like, the whole world just crumbled, And a few years later, we had our fourth son. I got 4 boys. And we named him Gavin after my brother-in-law, Gavin, who had passed. And this baby boy brought tons of joy into our lives and, super healthy and happy, but he got this cough. And it was, just a normal cough, but we would take him to the doctors and they'd say, he's fine, there's no big deal, stop being worried parents, And it persisted. And we took him to the hospital late one night because it was really bad, as we had other times. But this time, they kept us there. We thought we'd be in and out like normal. And they're like, look, we don't know what this is, but this is serious. Finally, they tested for something called pertussis, also known as whooping cough. And that's what he had. And it was really hard because it progressed, you know what I mean, really, really far. And I remember one night, my wife and I were there in the hospital with him, as always. And the nurse says, you guys should stay the night. We always stayed the night. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a thing. It was a cue, like something. This is bad. You're receiving a warning. This is not going to end well. And my wife and I were like just holding hands over his, him just trying to stay alive. He's in like, they put him to sleep. They have all these wires and all these tubes in him, and we're just like praying and telling ourselves, what are we going to do? And they said, what was interesting too is, my wife, has this blog, and so people from all around the world are praying for us. And some guy from Istanbul says he stood up all night on the wall praying, whatever. Like, it's an amazing
That's touching
thing. Like, it was beautiful, and we thought we'd have a miracle, but we didn't. They came in and they said, "Look, we're bringing this crash cart. We need to use it. Our job is to just do everything we can, but you don't have to because it's your choice." And we're like, wait, what does that mean? Like, we want to give him every fighting chance to live. And they're like, let me tell it to you straight. He's not going to live. But this is here. You can either die violently or peacefully.
Oh my goodness.
I might be saying it even a little more eloquently than they may have said it, And
oh my goodness,
we're
Richie.
like, I know, it's bad. And I'm saying it like with a smile on my face and kind of here, but like, it's been a while, but like at the end of the day, like, worst experience any parent can have.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm sitting here thinking about one of my kids, and I'm tearing up just talking to you because this is just heart wrenching.
It's painful to say it. So we looked at each other, my wife and I, and we said, because we knew this could tear us apart even. So we won't let this tear us apart. Somehow we'll let his life bring us closer together. They took out all those little tubes and wires. I held them for a moment, handed them to my wife. I'm just on my knees there at my wife's feet. She's holding him. And I have my hand on his little heart, and we wait for those last beats while we sing lullabies. And he passes away. And, we left that hospital empty-handed, which is you come in with a son and you leave without one, And what you don't think about is like when like your child passes, like what do you do? My wife's just still rocking him.
There's no game plan for what's next.
Like what do you do? Like you can't leave. And the sweet angel of a nurse, and this is kind of a metaphor for life, right? Just comes in and says, well, can I rock him? And so she rocks him, and we painfully walk out, and we're just in absolute shock, And someone asked me later, actually, Sherry Dew, you may have heard of her. She is a mentor of mine, and she said she was in Hawaii and she saw my wife and I. She said, this is her question. She says, what did you learn from this experience, from your brother-in-law passing, from your son passing? And my wife's like, ask me in a year, And I'm like, I don't know. It's hard,
Because you're still right in the grieving period.
It's raw. And I turned around after a while and I thought about it as I was writing the book, and I call it Gavins Law, which is live to start to live. Because so many people are walking around alive, but they're not.
Yeah.
And they have these ideas coming to their mind, stupid ones, inspired, who knows, and they don't do anything about them because they're scared. And so I learned, if you live to start, you will start to live. Even if it wasn't, like, even the worst part, like even if it isn't the best idea ever, I'm not talking about bad things, but let's just say it's just really not the best idea. At least you tried it. You can live without regret, and you're not going to wait till you're 65 and then find out that it won't work. Because that's a huge fall to build your whole life and then realize it wasn't a thing. And as you know, right? Go for it.
Yeah, even if it doesn't work, right? Think of what you've learned. Right. Think of the experience that you had.
Absolutely right.
And from what I've seen, every time something doesn't work, a new door opens.
That's right.
New ideas come, and you can try something else.
That's exactly right. And so, like, I started interviewing people, literally hundreds of people, most of them kind of in the sunset of their lives,
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them what made them successful or not, or what they wish they would have done different, whatever. And they all said something like this: I wish I would have had, or no, they would say, I waited for a time where I would have more time, more education, more experience, more money.
Never comes.
And that, only to find out that I still needed more time, more education, more experience, and more money. And it's like, nobody has all those things. And if they do, they probably don't want to start anything because they're just hanging out somewhere. But in reality, it's actually those constraints that help you be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually those constraints that help you gain those things that you want.
It's amazing how we say this all the time in our creative culture, that constraints actually breed creativity.
Yes.
It's amazing how that happens. If you give someone just a completely blank slate,
Yeah.
they'll stare at that blank slate and have no idea where to go. But then if you put some parameters and constraints on it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's like, I never thought of this before, but it's kind of like those escape rooms.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be creative to get out. But if you weren't in that room at all, if the door would just open, you just walk out.
That's right.
And we're all like, are we all not trying to escape something? Aren't we all in our own little escape rooms? Whatever. Oh my gosh.
Richie, thank you so much for
man.
sharing that story. I wish we had a box of tissues here in the room.
Sorry.
That was a heart-wrenching thing. Just to hear, so I cannot even imagine what it was like. I can't even put myself in your shoes, and I appreciate you being willing to share that with me and with our audience. I think there's so much that we can all take away from the perspective and the attitude that you've walked away with coming from that.
Yeah, thank you. People will always ask when they read the book or they're trying to do something, or just to hear our life story. There's more to it, but they're like how or why, or they're really asking how they can do it.
Yep.
And the answer is start with one thing. It isn't, no matter how hard it is, just the one. Because we always fast forward to the major success, which is 10 to 100 steps away, which is impossible to leap to. But if you take that first step, you eventually get there and you learn, right? And it's amazing what you can do that you don't know you could do if you try,
I love it. I love it. So, so our audience is largely made up of marketers and entrepreneurs and creators,
Totally.
Writers and
Those are my people, man.
and filmmakers.
Okay.
So speaking to that audience, if there's someone who's just has this fire burning inside of them and they know they want to take that next step, that first step that you just talked about.
Yeah.
What's your advice for that person?
So if you are wondering what your next step is, I'm going to say something super different. When people read my book, they would come to me with a stupid idea. And I realized I could help them make money. Not as long as we had the business model right and they could sell. It's not hard to make money. People think it's so hard, and it is, but that's because you're selling the wrong thing to the wrong person. Like the idea of selling is that they don't need to be sold. They just want to buy it, right? Because it's cool or whatever it is. It meets their need. But there's more. I found out they could be successful financially, but they still didn't have the time freedom that they wanted. Because most people that reach out to me, it's not just I want to make money. It's not just I want to do this thing. It's what they think will come after their success, which is more freedom of time, location, income, all those things. But people think it's going to take 10 steps to get there, and they never make it. In fact, they get successful, and they still don't have it. And it makes sense because they didn't bake freedom into their business model from the very beginning. So if I say, in psychology, it's called final cause. So I say, if you are, I say, I don't even care what you're doing. It's a great idea. Awesome, wonderful, love it, hate it, hate it, stupid idea, whatever. I don't care. It can make money. But if your goal is to hang out with your kids more, and your kids are 13 or whatever, one of them is, right? Unless you have like 5 of them that are 13. Okay, are you telling me you're going to spend 5 years to get that freedom when they're 18 and they're out of the house?
Yeah, and the window of opportunities passed.
And their mind blows, and they're like, oh, Richie. And I'm like, but there's hope. If your goal is to spend more time with them or travel the world or do whatever, why don't you start with that? And why don't we build your business around it? That's it. And instantly your future becomes your present. It's
love
here.
it.
You just do it. I do this. We travel around the world. We're on the road for 6 months at a time sometimes. I work from my cell phone, and it's all because I gave myself a constraint. Can I do it from my cell phone? Can I do it remotely?
It's amazing.
And do I like it? Of course. But again, I'll bring back to start. Start by serving others, which means do it for free. Do it without a hidden agenda, because a lot of people do it like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Especially in this industry, it happens a lot, right? Don't be an idiot. Don't do that. Just serve. Then you thank them for the opportunity to serve them. Because when you ask people for something, it can hurt. You can ask at the wrong time. If someone just comes out of nowhere and asks you for something, if it's a big ask, you're like, how do we know each other?
Right.
So you earn the right to ask.
That's right.
Then you are able to receive more fully. Like in football, the guy throws the quarterback throws the ball. You don't want the receiver to whack it out of the air or like drop it on purpose or put their knee down. You want them to score, right? You want them to go all the way to the end zone, touchdown. Like when you receive, the gift back to the person is that you are successful. How many times do you give people advice? They don't do
Countless.
anything, and you're like, you keep doing it. Of course, but you're like, what's wrong with people, man? I just told you everything to do. You're so good, you could kill it. Anyways, and then trust. Trust that it's all gonna work out. But that process, serve, think, ask, receive, and trust, is how you start, in my opinion, what I saw. Through successful people starting stupid things. But if you also start with final cause,
so smart.
You'll do it in a way that gives you your future in the present, and you're living the dream. This is a real thing. It's not easy, but this is how it's done.
I love it.
You're amazing, dude.
Richie, thank you for being a guest on the show.
Welcome.
You mentioned in the beginning that you already have a copy of the book From Poop to Gold.
Was there a soft copy? I think I might have got a soft copy.
Did you? So
I think so. Yeah, this is cool. This is hard. I like it. We're happy.
and if nothing else, it's going to make a fantastic gift that you can give to someone else.
Thank you. This is awesome.
So, and to our listeners, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
As entrepreneurs and small businesses, we all kind of reach that point where we know we've created something awesome and we want to share it with the world, right? And it's that very next step that can oftentimes be really intimidating or really scary, or you just don't know where to go next, right? And the beautiful thing about this 14-day script challenge is you get your hand held from, okay, you have this cool product, now let's go research and find the exact way to present it and message it to the world in a way that resonates and gets people excited and they're ready to swipe their credit card and purchase. And in the 14-day script challenge, you get the opportunity to go through that step by step with our writers who have done it dozens and dozens of times.
You actually watch us go through each of the steps ourselves and create it with a real client, a real product, and it's a real campaign that's out there that's been very successful.
That's right. And the feedback that we've had on this thing has just been phenomenal. I mean, we get comment after comment and emails flowing in from people all over the world who have just raved about the impact that this has had on their business.
People tell us over and over again, it is just a huge value punch for the investment for this 14-day script challenge, and really gave them the tool set they needed to walk through it and make it happen.
And we've had dozens of students who have successfully taken the challenge, written their script, launched their ad campaigns, and driven success for their business. It's pretty amazing.
For more information, go to hbros.co/script.